back inside the Now Morning Show, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Natalie, you have this one. It's COVID and the business sectors, what we're going to be chatting about this morning.
Yes, and our guest this morning on Zoom with us is Kiran Singh, President of the Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce. Good morning to you, Mr. Singh.
Good morning, Natalie. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago, and it's a pleasure to be on the #1 talk show.
Yes, you're on the #1 show, so you know your reach.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I invited you here this morning to talk about the latest restrictions to COVID-19 so that we can curtail movement, curtail how we do business because the numbers are going up, more people are being infected, and so we're kind of in a partial lockdown. But how is the chamber treating with this, and have we had any adverse reaction to businesses as a result of these latest measures?
Well, Natalie, unfortunately, this has caused a further slowdown in business activity. Commerce has slowed down as a result. The confidence from the consumers, of course, has been reduced. There's a genuine fear in the public about contracting the virus. It's a serious thing. This second wave, or maybe third wave that we are facing, the Brazil strain, it is certainly a frightful experience to be outdoors, and people are, at least in South, they are only out if they have to be. We don't see people congregating in numbers that would have obtained before. Of course, Trinidad and Tobago being a social type of place, we like to congregate in numbers, we like to socialize with people, hug and kiss and so on, and this has to be curtailed if we are to overcome this pandemic that we currently face. And business certainly is taking a serious knock at the register and at the doors at this time.
No, I had Lara Quentrell Thomas on the program with me earlier this week, and she was saying that she believes there's an absence of a national strategic policy to go forward. Do you share this view? And she also believes that the implementation of the measures are kind of ad hoc, that there doesn't seem to be any rationale behind it. How does the chamber feel about the restrictions, and if there's a national policy, a strategic policy to get out of COVID?
Well, I recall that at the onset of the pandemic, just over a year ago, we were part of the Roadmap to Recovery Committee. The San Fernando Chamber sat on this committee where we made several proposals together with other elements of the business sector, which were put forward to the government. In fact, it was a public-private sector committee that was set up, and several proposals were made in how to deal with the virus, deal with the lockdown, deal with shutting down certain sectors that would encourage the spread of the virus. I think this has worked to some extent. It has also given credence to the fact that there needs to be, it's an ongoing work. Our generation has not faced a pandemic of this magnitude in our lifetimes, and we may never face this again, but we have to come up with, is a very dynamic situation that we face as we go on day to day, and how to deal with the pandemic. And we need to have the thought process well ironed out and properly ventilated in the public so that everyone can understand and how we have to deal with this pandemic.
Right. And what do you make of the proposal by the Barkeepers and Operators Association of Trinidad and Tobago? They're suggesting a 60-day ban on alcohol consumption in public places because they believe that's part of the reason for the uptick. At least they're saying the health professionals are saying alcohol consumption is responsible for the uptick in cases. Is this something that the chamber would support?
The bar industry, and by extension, all the places of entertainment are certainly severely hit by the lockdown measures that has come about because of the pandemic. I'm not sure if a total lockdown for 60 days will serve the purpose that it is intended for, because that sector is already under severe financial strain. Employees have been reduced at the counter, waiters have been reduced, there have been rotating staff, some have been sent home, some bars just don't open every day as in the past, they open more on the weekends. We don't see, well, I can speak for San Fernando that There's no big congregation inside the bars. That is against the law. I did hear about people congregating outside the bar, across the road, and so on. Trinidad and Tobago, as I say, we are very sociable people. We like to go out. The pandemic, these lockdown measures are having certain negative effects on the family lifestyle. People are becoming very frustrated to be at home all the time, and work is being done more online as opposed to stepping out of your house. And these forms of getting out and being in the public a little bit eases the frustration of a lot of people who have so much strong confinement at home. And I think that from the chamber perspective, the bars need to remain open. Not to congregate in the bars, of course, but you can pass in, get your drinks, and move on.
All right, so definitely not supporting that proposed ban on alcohol in public places for 60 days.
We wouldn't think that is a good initiative at this point. It also generates economic activity. The sale of alcohol has many downstream benefits because it's production at the factories, retail increases. We have workers that would be employed. The utility consumption of utilities, and it's a whole multiplier effect that comes out of this part of this sector of the economy.
Right. You spoke about people not really gathering in bars, at San Fernando, but what's the general behavior of the people in the San Fernando area? Because we are having an uptick in cases. Are we still seeing the illegal immigrants coming through the porous borders? Or let me not say that because they might not forgive me. Are we still seeing illegal immigrants coming through the borders?
We have seen an increase in the number of Venezuelans in San Fernando and in the southern area in particular. Where they're coming from, we can't say. It may be through the borders. Some may be legally entitled to be here, but we have seen definitely an increase over the past few months of Venezuelans on the streets, in stores, shopping as well as working. We definitely seen an increase in these immigrants, and we have to be mindful of. I think that the TTPS and the Coast Guard will be working assiduously to ascertain who is here legally and who is not here legally. And the fact that the Commissioner of Police is about to launch the Marine branch of the TTPS, I think that is a positive and a welcome sign that we certainly need greater patrol of our borders, given the close proximity to Venezuela in particular, and to ensure that we don't have an overabundance of Venezuelans entering illegally. We know that the resources are limited for us at this time. The government has said so on many occasions. And we certainly applaud the initiative taken by the Commissioner of Police at this time to increase the support to the Coast Guard.
Yeah, that's definitely something positive. But do you think that it is serving the greater San Fernando area well to have these Venezuelans? Are they, productive, or are you having more of them who are in need of help?
I would have thought that given the work ethic in this country, it certainly needs some level of improvement. That the uptick in Venezuelan presence in Trinidad and Tobago would have shaken up the working population of this country to get more serious and put their elbows to the wheel and get more to increase their productivity. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that. And Venezuelans, what they are doing is literally taking the jobs of Trinidadians who somewhat unwilling to work or give up a full day's work for a full day's pay. And so that is the positive side of the Venezuelan presence in Trinidad and Tobago. The negative side is that, of course, there's an increased burden in the health sector, in the services sector that they bring because they pay no taxes. And we need to find more equitable situations and tools in how we deal with the Venezuelan presence in Trinidad and Tobago to ensure that the distribution of the resources is spread evenly across the table for Trinidadians and foreigners alike.
Right, but the reality is that my workers are telling me, I don't know what's happening with me this morning. My co-workers are telling me this morning that the Venezuelans are paid less. So is it really that it's easier to deal with them because of the amount of money they're being paid?
We have reports of some Venezuelans accepting lower wages, but the Venezuelans are becoming smart. The influence of the trainees rubbing off on them, and they're certainly asking for a fair day's wage as opposed to when they initially got here some time ago.
Right.
So that wage disparity is no longer a serious issue for them. They're entitled to their rights. There are several agencies that certainly lobby for them to ensure that they are equitably treated and fairly treated in the work environment. And
right.
that, I think that the Venezuelans have here for a long time, and we could also look at deploying the Venezuelans in other sectors of the economy, in agriculture, farming, for instance, where the trainees are somewhat challenged to work outside, that we could get the Venezuelans working the farms to increase the agricultural output, which is definitely needed, given the fact that we have such a huge food import bill in the country. And we need to certainly grow more local foods, eat more local, buy more local, to reduce the demand on foreign exchange in the country.
No, so far we haven't seen a reduction in the number of cases over the last week to 2 weeks. If these restrictions are to continue until, let's say, the end of May, even June, how do you think the businesses in the greater San Fernando area are going to survive?
Naturally, we are extremely worried and frustrated with the lockdown measures, but we understand that the government has little choice in how to curtail the spread of the virus. When we look at developed countries, North America, US, Canada, they are struggling with keeping the spread down. India is at critical mass in terms of the spread of the virus, which is going on there. We certainly cannot handle a spread of that magnitude in this country. At the same time, the SME sector, the MSME sector, in fact, is suffering financially even worse because of the fact that we are energy-based economy, and we are a victim of lower prices, lower demands in the petrochemicals and oil and gas industries. The COVID has not helped this situation, and we really hope that Trinidadians and Tobagonians literally behave themselves, stick to what they have to do, stick to social hygiene and protocols. Let's stamp this virus out of the country so that we get back to normal business activity. Hopefully within the next financial quarter, that we could see some level of business returning to the economy, because it's a negative multiplier effect that's going on right now, where we losing customers, businesses, when they get no sales at the register, they have no choice but to close. We have seen several closures, unfortunately, especially in the smaller businesses. Even the larger businesses, we see that they have reduced their staff levels. Even the supermarkets, which were the number one in the retail activity in the country, even that sector is seeing some reduction in sales and in visitations to their various places of business. And we need to certainly keep our strength and fortitude for the next few days and several weeks to overcome this virus.
All right, Kiran Singh, we do have to leave it there, but thank you so much for sharing with us this morning.
Thank you, Natalie. And to Trinidad and Tobago, be safe out there, guys.
All right, thank you. Kiran Singh, they're president of the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce. But how do you feel about Trini's, Venice taking Trini's job? Because as he's saying, it's jobs that they don't want.
It's jobs that they don't want. And that's the thing that gets me upset every time people say, they're coming to take we work. They wasn't doing the work anyway. You wasn't going and applying for that job because you find that job beneath you, or it's too much work for the little bit of money. So if you don't want to do it, you find somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Simple.
That's somebody who was very willing to.
You have the mic.
Oh, yes.
I gave it away.
All right, Curry gave away his mic, but we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with you. Stay with us.